more consultation and gets information faster? How can we as business use AI to be able to learn pattern about our business? So you might think your business is so small as a mechanic shop can actually have patterns of how much things are breaking in a car based on the location. So if you live in Lagos, because of the bad road, there are type of things that will happen to your car that the mechanic can learn as a business, that the pattern that is happening every time, these are the type of things that will happen to cars, and train themselves for that kind of stuff. How can you use that kind of AI for your business? Or you're a vendor. You as a vendor, how can you learn patterns of when do people buy my things more? If you're selling eyeglasses, when do people buy eyeglasses more? Is it at the beginning of the year? Is it in the middle of the year? Is it at the end of the year? Is it at Christmas? You need to understand that your business can use AI to learn patterns. So there are many things to learn as a business. Like, I need to understand what is my data set, how can I make it more digital? If your business is not digital, how can I make it more digital? And then look at the design of your business. Sometimes you have to even change the model of your business to align to this AI that's coming in the future. And then moving to governments, I think that they need to start setting up policies that make data more efficient, make digitalization the forefront of many of the things that are happening, and make sure that we're designing Nigeria, designing Africa in a way that allows this digitalization and data to function effectively so that people can use it on their medium. So this phone that I'm holding that costs thousands or millions of naira should be able to be a medium for me to interact with the data and the design and the digitalization of Nigeria and even Africa.
Very well. Now, Austin, you know, we are streamlining it to the health sector, basically. Now, how would you say AI can basically bridge the access gap to medical health care? You know, talking about those in the rural areas who don't have as much adequate health care. You know, how would AI help to bridge this gap, especially in Nigeria today, as we have it? There's a lot of brain drain, especially in the health sector, you know. So now, how can we basically bridge that gap?
So that's a very good question. Thank you. I think when it comes to AI, I wouldn't even just focus on Nigeria alone or even Africa itself. I would say that the healthcare sector has used AI in a massive way so far. We have actually seen the AI being able to analyze a lot of proteins, a lot of genomes, a lot of data sets. We actually have AI right now that can take pictures of skin and actually tell you the cancer on the skin. But let me use that as an example, or the basis of this conversation. Imagine that the AI that is analyzing skins is only analyzing a white man's skin. What happens to all the millions of African skin that it does not analyze? So what the AI is doing is, like I mentioned before, AI is very good at understanding patterns. So if the AI is only understanding the patterns of white skin, white health, white people's health, where do Africans start to do more with AI? So what I would say in that regard is that to bridge the gap, first of all, we need to start getting the AI to learn to be less biased. We need to start bringing AI more into our health sector in Nigeria, where we're using the AI to actually analyze the data of Africans' health sector. You know, the people, the type of diseases we're having in Africa, being able to analyze what type of things happening in Africa, what type of things are happening in Nigeria, so that we can actually populate the data sets that are being used to analyze many of these technologies that are being brought by AI. The interesting thing about it is that because of the pricing of AI costs tens of billions of dollars. We in Nigeria have not started to set up even just AI teams that started to look into things like health sector. So what I would propose, or what I would suggest for us to bridge that gap, because the gap is not just in Nigeria, the gap is actually globally. You know, we're having biased data sets given to this AI that is learning patterns. So for us to match up to what is happening over there in the Western world, where many of these AI are being built, we in Nigeria, we in Africa need to start setting up AI teams, no matter how expensive it is, because that's the whole point of it, so that we can actually match up to what is happening, putting all our data set. We do have data. We have data in Africa. We need more data. I would always say this, but at the same time, we need to start putting our data into these machines that start to learn about these are the things that are happening to Africa. We're having more kwashiorkor here. We're having more malnutrition here. We need to start putting that into our AI so that it can start to prescribe to us better health treatment for what is happening in Africa, so that we can match up to what they're also doing in the Western world, and health can be a balanced thing universally, because health is actually for everyone, not just for the Western people.
Very well. That's quite interesting. So now, what would you say about? Do you think this measure would really help, you know, especially those in the rural areas, like I earlier stated. Now, of course, we know that brain drain, like I said earlier, is a thing. So do you think that with the innovation of AI, you know, we wouldn't be needing too many physical hands as such in the treatment of some diseases in Nigeria? Would that go a long way in helping the health sector?
I think this is already the forefront of things. So health sector actually has a lot of things that needs to be fixed in Nigeria. We're talking about the treatment itself, analyzing these diseases that already exist. I'm glad that you mentioned the rural areas. Some of the diseases that come into the even urban areas come mostly from the rural areas, if you look at it clearly. So even analyzing where these diseases are coming from, why they're existing in our areas, are one of the first things that AI can help us do, for sure. Secondly, helping us to put the right treatments to bring solutions are some of the things that AI can help us do. Finally, being able to help us with the administrative sectors of health. So I mean from the collecting of data from people, from insurance level. One of the things that we don't even focus on a lot in Nigeria and Africa is insurance. Being able to give personalized insurance. If I live in Lagos, my insurance health should be more than if I live in Delta State. Why? Because in Lagos, I'm prone to more accidents, I'm prone to more diseases, I'm exposed to more things than if I am in Delta State. These kind of things. Or maybe it's even more in Delta State, maybe because of the pollutions that are happening there. The air suits, I'm having more lungs thing, but the personalization of these things, AI can help us do. So what I would recommend, and I would say this, we still have a lot of challenges with these things, but AI can help us to move faster, to be able to, like I said, analyze what's going on in our environments, to know what type of diseases are happening, and then provide effective treatments for individuals in those areas so that we're able to have a good administration of our health sector in Nigeria and across Africa.
Very well. I understand that AI is not something you just carry out just like that. Mm-hmm. You need to be trained in that aspect to actually know what to even put into the AI to get the desired result. Now, how do we go about training people, and how do we, basically empower and enlighten people, especially those in the rural areas, again, about the use of AI, so it's not obsolete, it's not like something that they can't relate with, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we basically enlighten them and make them know better about AI and how to go about the utilization?
I have two thoughts about this in my mind, and thank you for the question. There's two ways in my mind as an individual and someone that's very passionate about transforming Africa using technology, especially from the aspect of data modeling. I think one side is that we need to train more of our young people to be more tech savvy so that we can have more AI teams. We don't have AI teams in Nigeria. We have companies that are not even setting up AI teams in Nigeria. We're not having AI communities as much as we should have. It's not like they don't exist. I know a few of them. But we need more. We need to train more young people to be more tech savvy in the areas of data and in the areas of digitalization. Very particularly about these two things. The other parts of design and even the medium of how we're putting it can come to pass over time. But digitalization, coding, writing codes, machine learning, those things, we need to train more of our people to do them. DevOps, developing operating systems, developing systems. We need to train more of our people to do those things. On the other side of things, data modeling, data analysis, data science. We need to get more of our people to do data collection as well. Data centers. We need to get that to happen. We need to train more of our people to do that. That's on one side. On the other side of things, AI is still very, very expensive, as I mentioned before. And because it's very expensive, it costs a lot to set up a whole team to run AI. So what we should look at that is the fact that many of the tools, we need to have a aggregated data, should we put it like a system that has the knowledge of what are the latest tools being developed and start to use them effectively. Because the funny thing is that as much as we want to write the codes and all these structures for AI, there are AIs now that you don't need to write those things. We have AI that are writing codes. So we need to know what are the latest technology, the latest AI tools. Let me not even use the word technology. I want to use the word tools because AI become like your knife and fork in the future. and helps you to eat. So what are the latest tools that are being brought about for different sectors so that we can start to use them as fast as possible? For example, I told you about the one for tailoring. There's a tool now from MIT that allows you to take pictures of fabrics, and you can know if the fabrics the threads are not properly aligned. You can know if there's a tear on it, so that you don't sell these things out there and then you're having bulk of things being brought back. You can actually find the error first so that your supply chain is effective, so that you can actually make more profits. So you see that businesses also need to start saying, what are the latest AI that function for my business, and start to use them before even the guys that are doing the tech savvy things. Because if we give so much power to these tech savvy guys, as much as I love the tech guys, and I'm also a tech guy myself, but it's more about giving more of the power to the people that will use this AI to say, these are the latest tools that are coming out in AI. These are the ones you should start using for your businesses. And the government has a big role to play in actually setting up these things at the forefront of businesses right now, so that we can have a convergence with the Western world that are moving very fast with it, with these AI tools and systems. So again, it's still two ways in my head. One, let's train more tech savvy guys, but at the same time, let's educate and orientate our people on the latest tools that exist.
Very well. I mean, everything about artificial intelligence is also fascinating, yeah, especially as, you know, it keeps developing every other day. So now let's look at the aspect of collaboration. I mean, there was news about Microsoft collaborating with OpenAI, for instance. Do you think that such collaborations, you know, should be welcome in Nigeria, you know, between the private sectors and these AI developers, you know, to try to work together and see how to make the health sector and other sectors generally better in Nigeria?
We even first of all need to set up some strong institutions and some strong organizations that are really focused on AI first of all. For example, our company that we work for really focuses on collecting data. The reason why we collect data is really because we want to understand what's happening in various locations, and then we can start connecting AI tools to it that can create a, should we call it a world where we see Africans being able to use their medium, their digital tools, phones, laptops, television, screens, cameras, whatever it is that they're using, to be able to understand what's happening around them. So we need to set up those type of institutions. Set up this institution first before we then even know how to collaborate. Many of the institutions we're having right now are very individualistic institutions that are really focusing on how does the CEO make money. We need to start looking beyond how does the CEO make money to see how does this tool help Africa? How does this thing help the economy? How does this thing help the political sector? How does this thing help the social sector? Because when we set up institutions like that, it fosters collaboration. For instance, OpenAI did not just start making money first. They started with just wanting to do more research, very passionate about, we need to do research and understand what is going on in this, with this technology. And then from there, right now, every company wants to partner with them. Every company wants to work with them because they are doing greater things. We in Africa, we in Nigeria need to set up this institution first. But absolutely, I will agree with you that definitely we need more collaboration and removing from that individualistic part of it's my AI that must win. I need to raise money for my startup. To looking at, I need to build something that would help my nation, that would help my community, that will help this environment effectively, or help organizations to build better structure that can then foster more collaboration. So Microsoft will know who they are collaborating with in Nigeria for AI in Nigeria, because they are collaborating with OpenAI. But who can they collaborate with in Nigeria or Africa now about AI? Who can they collaborate with here that they know that is the good structure or the good institution that's focused on AI? Is it the government sector? The government sector would only focus more on policies and providing us some funding from the money that we're paying them with taxes. We as the leaders, we that are forefront of this technology, that understand this technology, that understand how it works, how it functions, need to start setting up more stronger institutions, more institutions that are focusing on empowering young people to do things. And the young people themselves need to start looking at, I need to work in this thing and make it great, than just focusing on get me paid and let me feed my family. We need to change our orientation, our mindsets about what technology can do for us, and start to set up building those things so that we can actually foster more industry collaboration from the people that even know more than we do. And even we that even can set up something brand new, we need to set that up so that when we bring up something innovative, they want to come and partner with us as effective as possible. I think that would be my statement to that.
Oh, wow. Thank you so very much, Austin. We'll go on a quick break, just to take in some air, because this has been a whole lot of information. But we'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godi Odidi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence. I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching.
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Insight, and we're still discussing the topic, the impact of artificial intelligence on the health sector. We still have with us in the studio Austin, and he has been taking us through, in fact, a whole lot of information has been dispensed here. So this is a show you want to go back to and watch over and over again, because this information are, very, very vital to us as business people. Okay, now, Mr. Austin, yes. How would you advise the government to go about it? Just like you earlier stated, government basically just, disburses funds for all of this, but aside funds, what other measures can they take in ensuring that the health sector is better for it with the use of artificial intelligence?
Thank you for the question. And every time I speak to the government, I'm always careful, because, but I would just take from what you just said. First of all, the first one we have to focus on is the measure. I like the fact that you use the measure, the word measure. Many times we use the word measure, we say, what are the measures they should take? Actually, they need to set up measurement first that are used to measure the parameters of technology in the health sector. So health has to do with three things, I personally believe. First of all, is firstly the environment that is being affected, and then secondly, the people that you interact with. So let's say someone goes and gets a disease from an animal in a particular environment. It comes and touches another human being and get that disease. And at the same time, we then leave it to organizations to fix that problem. Either hospitals, either health insurance companies, and so on and so forth. They need to set up, first of all, a measured perimeter that would say, this is the way that we want to measure our health sector in Nigeria. At the same time, the government needs to focus on what type of policies. And with this part now, when I talk about policies, it would bring about what in the health sector, there's something or in the tech sector, is what we call the integration. APIs. You have these applicational programs that are integrated into other things. For example, on your social media, you can actually buy something from it from clicking buy now on your Instagram. That is an integration. Now, the government needs to put integration of different sectors of the health, should I call it the different departments of the health sector, to say, we want to hear from you the way to design the policies when it comes to insurance, when it comes to the treatments, when it comes to pharmaceuticals. We want to be able to integrate it together, because that's what technology will do for us. And then finally, they need to make data more accessible. This is actually one of the most important points of the whole thing when it comes to health sector in Nigeria and across Africa. we need to make the data more accessible and more open. For instance, you can't even find health data as easy as you want to find them for private organizations that want to do great work with their tools in Nigeria to do those things. So government needs to start putting policies that would allow these data that are collected by the government, data that are collected by hospitals, to be more accessible to private organizations to be able to integrate or develop or design better AI tools. This would be my recommendation to them. But above all of these things, I think that facilitating the development or the design of AI tools needs to be even the bedrock. And we can see a lot happening right now with our Minister for Digital Economy, and we want to appreciate him for doing that. But really, we need to do more in that sector as we speak.
Very well. Now, Austin, looking at the adoption of AI in the health sector, because of course we know finances is one major factor when it comes to healthcare. You know, we have so many Nigerians that would rather just consult probably orthodox medicine or any other kind just to avoid having to pay so much. Now, with this adoption of AI, wouldn't that even be some additional cost, to this rural area, dwellers who don't even have enough to actually take care of themselves when it comes to health? Now, how do we ensure that, despite the adoption of AI, they can still, assess healthcare at a reasonable amount?
Yeah, and this is a very good question, and thank you. I love when we talk about finance. As an economist, a digital economist that I am, I'm very particular about when we talk about finance. And I've mentioned it here today about the fact that AI is very expensive at the moment. But it doesn't remain that for a long period of time. For instance, you use ChatGPT without paying 1 penny. Imagine having consultation with a chatbot about a health issue that you're facing, and it can tell you the best thing to do for free. We have the ability to build things for people that would cost them less money, but it would take us a lot of money to build them. If I was going to recommend anything here, I would say let's start first, because there's nothing else I can say that would quantify or justify the kind of cost we need to put into this as Africans. We have a lot of health issues that we don't tackle in Africa. Many people go around with diseases, go around with malnutrition, kids are dying, and I don't want to go into the emotional part of this. As an economist and someone that's very passionate about Africa, it touches my heart when I look at the statistics from the United Nations or from the African Union about the kind of things that are happening to people based on health. As a continent and as a nation, we should be looking into, we should be looking in things as free health care that is powered by technology. Because the moment we start to do this, we start to nudge people to even put their funding into this. Churches, ministries, wealthy people, we need to set up a system that would facilitate these things for African people. We cannot focus on the fact that health is expensive, but we need to start building tools that make health less expensive, but at the same time nudges people to know that whenever something happens to you, whenever you face a health crisis, you can come here and find solution. I think that even God himself in heaven would want people to have good health. Right now, when I think of health in Nigeria, someone like me, I would be able to get health care. But I think about people that do not have what I have. When they think about health care, the first thing they have to think about is the finance to take care of that health care. That already is a limitation that we can solve using technology and AI. That also can help to bring about efficient costs. I want to say this now because AI can bring about efficient costs. Because imagine that your treatment is different from my treatment. I can give a personalization that can help us to reduce the costs. So definitely, I wouldn't say that this is not going to cost the government a lot of money or cost institution a lot of money to set up AI. It will. But it would actually make healthcare accessible and easier and even cheaper for the people that will use it at the other hand. So we need to start. We need to get it moving. We need to get it started. I can't say nothing more than that. We just need to get it started.
You have said a lot, and that's very, very insightful. Now, are there any examples Nigerians can tap into, more like blueprints, you know, of AI working in a health sector that we can tap into and replicate here in Nigeria?
Oh, we have a lot. And there's a lot of tools out there. Some of them I will not be able to mention all the names, so I'm not promoting them, but you can search. But we have AI tools that can, like I said today, they have the one for cancer, that you can take a picture of a skin, and the AI tool will tell you the kind of cancer in the skin of the body of the person. I'm sure you know about x-rays, you know about how they can analyze people's veins and stuff through rays and stuff like that. AI is now being put into this type of machines to learn the pattern of the kind of things that are happening over it and bring solution. AI examples, like we've seen examples in things like treatments, being able to analyze cells and how solutions are brought to those cells and prescribe treatments as effective as possible. We've seen AI in health insurance, being able to give personalized insurance to people. We have people even building that in Nigeria. For example, I work on a project focused on AI for health insurance. We have those side of things already coming up. We have examples like nutrition, the kind of food you should eat. AI telling you this food will merge with this food to give you better healthy eating. We have AI for fitness. And so AI is cutting across a lot. We have AI, I told you that AI, we have a tool that has actually, we as humans have not been able to analyze genomes as fast as AI has been able to do that. We have AI that does that. We have AI that study all the proteins that exist in the human body, which millions, like imagine so there are so many tools at the moment that has come out of AI as examples of these transformations that are happening with AI in the health sector that we can tap from and start to use in the health sector at the moment.
Very well. Now, Austin, as a professional in this AI space, what would you say are the downsides to AI? Because everything, there is always the downside, right? Mm-hmm. So what would you highlight as the downside of AI, and what challenges does it come with?
So I don't want to say there's a downside as being someone that loves AI, but we definitely do have some challenges. Some of the challenges are some of the ones that I'm mentioning today. Costing. Because of the usability of AI and the way our economics of the world is, AI is more focused now on things like search, which Google is one of the biggest companies. It's more focused on things like retail. So only companies that like Amazon or Instagram or platforms like this can use AI so they're the ones that can afford it, that can pay for it. These are some of the challenges. So you have small businesses, agriculture, restaurants, vendors, t-shirt makers. They cannot use AI, even though AI will work for them effectively. Because if I use AI for my t-shirt manufacturing company, I can see patterns. But they won't sell that to me. It's too expensive. So there's a challenge there. The other challenge I'll see is that we don't have enough skills and education on what is going on. I mentioned before that we should actually train more of our people on AI, on the tech-savvy part of things, but also orientate our people, businesses and the likes, on the tools that are available for AI. You know, partnering with things like MIT and the rest so that they can show us what are the latest things people are working on. And let's get our universities to start doing those sort of things. We have that challenges of education and training as well that is limited in the country. I think I'll leave it at these two, finance, education. But I would say that, as I mentioned before, every individual would have to develop their own AI in the coming future. it's like you would have to have your own robot, just the same way you have your own cell phone in your hand now. You have to have your cell phone doing things, repeated tasks for you that you don't have to do every day. You know, it would tell you those things. It would make it happen. Your traveling, your transportation, it would have already set it up because it knows where you go every day. Imagine you come to the office every day. Imagine an AI that's already set that up for you and make sure that you don't be in traffic. Those are the kind, yeah, you're like, yes, let me have that one now. Those are the kind of things that will come. But there are these challenges. But these challenges should not prevent us from getting these small businesses to start testing out this thing. Because the more they start to test it out and start to grow it being used in those sectors, we can reduce the fact that it's only being priced from the sectors of these big organizations. To start saying, small businesses are using it now, and so we can fund more of them so that we can grow those things and, you know, bring, like I said, always a convergence eventually.
Wow, this is also interesting, but I would like your final thoughts on this topic. What is that thing you would like to say concerning artificial intelligence and its adoption in Nigeria and especially in the health sector?
I would say that as individuals, as businesses, as governments, we need to be very adaptable and resilient to what is coming with artificial intelligence across the world. We need to start getting ourselves ready. We need to train. We need to learn a lot. Many of us are not learning. We're just living our lives. We need to learn and start doing it so that we can create a new world. That's the only thing I'll leave with everybody. Learn, do, and create a new world, because that's what's happening.
Yes, you had the man, learn, do, so we can create a new world. I don't know if I got it verbatim, but that has been Mr. Austin Samuel, the CEO of Echo Africa. Yes, I'm sure you learned a lot from today's session of Business Insight. We just talked about the impact of artificial intelligence on the Nigerian health sector, and it has been really insightful. Thank you so much, Austin, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, we hope to see you some other time.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's the size of the show today on Business Insights. Join me again tomorrow for an even more informative session. See you tomorrow. I'm Adesua Iramoseli. Good morning.